So what we want to do is we want to open our EnviroMonitor app that we've got downloaded. So that's what the Davis EnviroMonitor app looks like. We're going to click on that. And this is where we then want to enter the, go to the login information, because we've already created the account, which is what we did on the PC a few minutes ago. So we're now going to enter this information into here. And then we're going to go there we go. So that has entered our credentials in, which has been accepted. So it's an active account. And then the first thing we want to do is we need to install a gateway. So what type of gateway? We've got two gateways to choose from. We've got the cellular gateway, which we're using here. We've also got the 6805 IP gateway, which is another option that we'll cover in another video down the line. But let's go for the cellular gateway this time. So it's telling me that I need to power the gateway, which I've already done, and I need to connect the square 4-pin connector, the one in the top left, and then check the blinking light on the front, which we've got, let me just there we go, we've got the blinking blue light. So then we're going to go next, and we're going to connect. Now, if you get this and you get the spinning circle at the bottom here, and this can occasionally happen that it doesn't automatically grab the Bluetooth signal, well, what you need to do, and a little tip of the trade here, is if it's not connecting straight away, just hit the question mark up on the top left. But this one's now found it. So first thing it's doing is it's checking the firmware on the gateway to see if a firmware upgrade is needed. So it has detected that the firmware needs to be upgraded. You can say no if you want, but what I normally would do is say yes, upgrade the firmware. So I'm going to select upgrade. And then what we need to do is we need to make sure that our phone stays within Bluetooth range of the gateway, and that you're obviously on, you do need to be on either 5G, 4G, whatever, or Wi-Fi, which is why I say if you're doing this installation yourself, I'd always recommend doing it in a building, doing it at home, doing it in your office, in a controlled environment, rather than doing it in the field. I've done it before when we first started doing these systems. We had poor connectivity right up the side of a mountain, and you're there for an hour trying to get signal, trying to get the firmware downloaded, that sort of thing. So what we'll do, that can take probably maybe 5 minutes. So we're going to leave that running, and then we'll come back to it once it's uploaded the firmware. So we need to give the gateway a name. So I'm going to call this Poplar Farm, because that's where it's going to be installed. This can be changed at any time. So the DID is the unique device identification code, which you can't edit. So I'm going to go next. Then you get to choose your location. So this can be done in advance, or this is defaulted to the location where we are, so it's using the GPS on the phone. So I'm just going to leave it like that at the moment because I'm not entirely sure whereabouts on the farm it will go. But if you want to, you can move that pin around as you need to, and that can be just done from within the app again. So I'm going to go next. Then we have to agree all the T's and C's. And then we have to decide which service plan to go for. So the majority of our systems will be on a 15-minute plan. Some would be on a 5-minute plan, and some will be on a 60. We've never done any 1 minutes. But again, it is an option, specifically probably if you're going to use the EM IP gateway. Otherwise, you're going to be a little bit power hungry on one of these systems. In the UK, if I'm going to use a 5-minute plan, I'll also fit a second solar panel, because obviously that modem is waking up every 5 minutes as opposed to every 15, so the power usage is that much higher. But at this stage, I'm going to look at the 15-minute plan. So that's what the customer's ordered. So we've selected that. We're going to go next, and then I want to go confirm and purchase. And there we go. And what we should see is the gateway will reboot. And then if we look at the gateway lights now, you can see that we've had a reboot on here. So we can now see, before we had the cell light was bright red, but now we're flashing green. So this can take a few minutes for it to start finding a cell. But we just need to let it cycle through, and what we're looking for is that to then turn to solid green. So as you can see, we've found a cell right away. Depending on where you are, different locations, it can take a little bit longer. I've known it to take sort of 15, 20 minutes, but we're in a 5G area here, so it's actually hitting really quickly. So that's linked in there. So we know we've got a connection up to weatherlink.com, and we'll be able to see that data on the system. So if we then go back to the app, which I'm going to put up in front here. So this is just the end part of the setup. So it says, do we want to upgrade to a Pro plan? Well, we don't need that. So we're just going to stay, or the Pro Plus, so we're just going to stay as a Pro. And then it tells us that our gateway is activated. And it can take up to 20 minutes. So I'm going to hit finished. You can take a picture if you want. I tend not to bother. And then we need to go next. And then we need to configure the other devices that we're going to have on here. So what we need to do is, obviously we've got our weather station on the floor, which we'll put on the pole in a minute. So we need to add that weather station to the configuration. So I'm going to hit plus. And what do I want to add? Do I want to add a node or a weather station? Well, we're going to add a node in a minute. So we're going to select weather station. What type of weather station? Are we going to go for a cabled or wireless? So we've got a wireless weather station. And then all the different models that are of weather station are available. So what I'm adding is a 6327OV. So I found that on the list. So that's the Pro Plus with the solar and UV sensors fitted. Another common one that we would install would be the 6820. So again, you can find that, and we need to go for the OV because obviously it's the overseas system that we're installing, not the US system. So back to the 6327. So again, we need to make sure that we've got that flashing Bluetooth light, and then we need to connect again. So it's automatically connected, and then it asks me what ID we're using. If you recall earlier in the video, I said that the ones that I configure, I normally configure standardly on ID 2. So we need to say what channel does the gateway need to listen to for the weather station. So I'm going to select ID 2, and then I'm going to go next. And then again, we have the Bluetooth connection where it's doing the configuration. There we go, we saw a flash on there, basically to say that it's rebooting and reconfiguring again. We just need to let it finish its connection. So it's registering the weather station. And there we go, our weather station is connected. So that's the weather station added. I'm going to just pop that on the tripod now, just to keep that out of the way, and then we'll add the node to the system, and then we'll have a look at the data that we're seeing on weatherlink.com and on the WeatherLink app. Here we go.